All right, so today we are going to go over how to travel with the Hydrofix Premium Edition. And so there are a few things that need to be known before traveling. The first thing is when you're traveling, whether it's by car or via plane, this is how the machine arrives. This is how it's transported from Japan to the United States, and from the United States anywhere else. And it must be transported in this way too. People have made the mistake of trying to put something in here to cushion, and that actually results in the crushing of the electrodes, which is a bad thing. So this position, this right here, actually protects the electrodes. But you don't want to have it loose like this. You don't want to just sit this in your car in a box, because this is bouncing around every time you go little bumps. It can bounce and then crush these electrodes, which will leave them looking terrible and they won't be functional. So the most important thing during transport is to keep your picture on the base of the unit. Now, if you have the original box to put this in, then the height of the picture is going to be covered by the box. So the box essentially will prevent it from bouncing around because the lid's on it. So it's going to stay in there firm. But if you're transporting it without this box, then there are a few things you need to do. The first thing you need to do, notice that obviously this is plastic and so is the picture. If the picture's moving around like this over and over again, you're going to end up with a lot of rubbing scratches in here that you might not be able to just rub out. And if that happens, it's not going to look very nice from underneath. And just get some bubble paper, something in between the picture, and the small bubble paper like this works best. All right, for transport. One thing, you need to put the cartridge into a Ziploc bag. So if you can find a Ziploc bag that fits this, and then seal it up, it'll stay moist, and that's important. If you're not using the box, right, then you're going to need to keep this down. So what we suggest is to basically cover it in a plastic bag. So the machine came in the plastic bag. So putting it in a plastic bag again, it's the best way. So if you can find a bag that's pretty good, pretty similar size, it can be a trash bag, whatever, just get it on, right? Then you would basically put your hand underneath here, put this on the top, turn it upside down, hold it in place, and get the bag all the way around. You can fold this over itself, and then you can place some tape on it. And in this way, the plastic is holding the picture securely onto the base. The other thing you can do is just put it in a bag and then take some tape, right? Take some tape and you go over the picture. Now you never want tape to touch the main plastic. I'm going on top of a bag because the residue from tape will stick to it and it'll look terrible. So this is painter's tape, which doesn't really leave residue. But you go over the whole entire picture, right? Around the whole thing. All right. And so the tape will serve to keep this extra secure. Now the picture is definitely not going to come off. It's very tight. So that's one. Another thing is, if you're going to be transporting this, one step that I did miss that is kind of important if you're going to be, because this little door can open and shut. It should be fine because it's in the bag. But before you actually wrap it in the bag, you can just take a couple little pieces of tape and put them right, not on top of the plastic, because here it doesn't really help, but on the inside. And that will keep your little door shut. Then you can put the plastic on top of it, and that will work. So that just like this, you don't need it to be in another box. You can just put it in the back of your car, inside of, just place it in a box, and you can transport it anywhere. This is what I would suggest because it doesn't weigh much. It weighs, I think it's 5 pounds. It's very, very, very light. Now, there are other things that you need to transport. You have your inhalation kit, which is the lid. And so if you're going to be transporting this, it already comes in a box. You should keep this box. You know, you can tuck it away in places. It's very easy. And other things can fit in this box. So you have enough room for the cannula that's here. You have enough room for the lid. And you might have room for the measuring cup to take with you. Or you might have room for the power adapter, whichever it is that you decide that you're going to do. If you do end up taking, another thing is you can place the measuring cup inside of the pitcher, but I would not put the power adapter in there because it's heavy and it can hit things and break them. So, but this is very light. So anyway, this will work fine. But if you're going to be taking the box, it makes it much easier because placing the machine in the box, of course, it was meant for the box. And by keeping the box, you should also keep this. This is nice. It goes right on top of the pitcher. So it has that cutout. Perfect. And then right here, it's leaving you this spot, which is perfect for the power adapter and perfect for your cartridge. So everything you need to fit would just be in there. So keeping the box around, really important. Even if you have to keep it in the attic, you got this thing for easy transport. If somebody is sick in your family, this is a very good way to be able to take this, transport it effectively, safely, keeping your machine totally safe. I do recommend using the painter's tape because it doesn't leave a residue behind and it comes off very easy. So wherever you put it, it's not leaving all that glue behind like most tapes. So painter's tapes can be really, really good. Also, interestingly enough, on the other side of the pitcher, you have the little plug, the drain plug. This works exceptional for that. You can just rip off a little piece of tape and you place it right over the plug. And this will keep the plug from falling out of the machine. So whenever you drain it, this is the way you just pull this out and the plug should come out with it. And you just leave it there and you let it drain. You never tilt the machine, as you know. If you don't know, never do that. That'll damage the machine because this tray has water, but there's also a tray inside. And if you're pouring it, you're going to pour it right onto the computer or on the other electronics that are on the other side. So always drain it through the plug. That's the best way. And the tape helps keep that plug from getting lost. So I hope this video was helpful. One last thing, if you're going to be transporting this via the airport, if you're going to be going on an airplane, never mention that this is a hydrogen machine. Hydrogen is highly explosive. Of course, we've all heard of the hydrogen bomb, so we don't want to raise any red flags. Just call it a water filtration system since it does have a cartridge that filters. So that makes it to where they look at the picture, they assume it's a water pitcher, so it's for water. They're not going to think that it's for hydrogen. So this should be very helpful to transport it without any issues. As far as I know right now, we don't have any history of anybody getting their machines taken away to airports. We've just told everybody to mention that it's a water filtration system, and there's never been issues.